Let's get started. I once again apologise. Now, the rules of this live stream, the house rules, so that we can all get the most out of it. Okay, first of all, if you're joining this chat after it has started, please do not rewind back to the beginning, because then you will not get the full benefit of participating live. Also, if you can join in as soon as you can hear something that you can answer on, join in and give the answers. Now, first of all, we're going to do a grade 8 style question. Do not panic, because if you're in a grade 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 or whatever up to 7, this is appropriate for everybody, okay? And one of the grade 8 questions is to describe any notable features that you notice as you're hearing a little piece. Okay, now that could relate to grade 1 style questions or grade 8 style questions, grade 7, 6, 5, 4 and 3 and 2. Okay, any notable features like dynamics and articulation, that's in grade 1, or to do with tempo changes or tonality in grades 2 and 3, the character, the style of the piece as you're going through the grades. So here is a piece for you to listen to, and just let me know if you can hear any notable features. Okay, now, did you notice anything in there that you could talk about the dynamics, the articulation, the tempo? Maybe there are any changes in tempo, changes in texture, style. Okay, now, Beppo's saying a change of key and texture. Now that's a good answer. Okay, could you elaborate a little bit more? Because that's one of the questions I had in mind for the future. Okay, it goes back to the first idea. Okay, let's start with that. Now, if you could actually tell us, Beppo, what grade you are doing, okay, what exam you're preparing for, because when you get to grade 6, you have to talk about the texture and the structure of the piece. So you're thinking about maybe a grade 6 style question. LOL, Master sang a minor amen cadence. We'll talk about cadences later. It went to the major. Yes, it modulated to the major. Okay, that's a good point. And then it went to the minor again at the end. Okay, right, now I want to talk a little bit further about Beppo's only grade 2. Well, that's a very good answer. Right, now let's talk about the differences in that section that was in the middle. Okay, you notice that there was a slightly contrasting middle section, and in grade 6 you would be able to describe that as maybe what they call ternary form, which means 3 parts where the middle part is different from the outside parts. Okay, an ABA type style question. Okay, it's called ternary form. So well done, Beppo, you are doing a grade 6 style question even though you're only grade 2. All right, now can you listen again to maybe the end of this piece and tell me what is different about the articulation in the first part of what I play and the second part of what I play, particularly the left hand. Okay. What is different about the articulation? That means whether it's played staccato or legato in the first part of what I just played to you, and then the second part, and particularly the left hand. Any thoughts on that from those who have joined us? Okay. The last section is legato and the middle section is staccato in the left hand. That is correct. Okay, now that is a grade 1 style question, okay? And there are chords as well, LOL Master, yes. Those chords, and then... Okay, now that is something what we call texture, which is more related to about a grade 6 standard of oral test. The texture is how the different layers are put together. So could you tell me about the texture, the layers if you like? Think of it as a sandwich, all right? The layers in this section, how many parts can you hear? Okay, there are how many layers? Because Beppo mentioned the middle has 3 layers and moves in quavers. How many layers in the last section? Correct, there are only 2 parts, and that is what they mean when they ask you about the texture of the music. Right, now another question. Can you tell me how many beats in a bar? I'm going to play it again from the beginning, and we'll see if anyone can work out how many beats are in a bar, because in the early grades 1, 2, 3, actually all the way up to grade 7, they ask you to clap in time, and at the early grades to put a louder clap on the strong beat, yeah, and then they're going to ask you how many beats are in a bar. Okay, so how many beats are in a bar? Yes, and we have 2 answers already. I didn't even have to finish the piece. Stick with your first answer, LOL Master. It's 3, yes. And Beppo got there just slightly ahead. Could be he has better internet. Now, my piano favourites has just joined us and said something about ternary form ABA with left-hand variation in the B section, giving contrast of legato and staccato between A and B. 3 layers in part A and 2 in part B. I would say possibly there are 2 layers in the A part, okay, but the rest of it, the ternary form, maybe you've just joined us a little bit after the beginning of the video, and so we already mentioned that, but well done for pointing that out as well. Okay, LOL Master is making sure that we understood they meant 3 beats in a bar. Okay, now, can anybody tell me a little bit about any changes of tempo in these last 2 sections? I'm going to play the final, not the B and the A section at the end. Okay, we've heard these before. Sorry. Excuse the little slip there, I wasn't concentrating. What about any changes in tempo, in the speed of the music? Did it change anywhere, or was it always the same? This is more like a grade 2 question. It slows down in the middle. Aaron Stephen is suggesting, and that is correct. Is it just in the middle? The middle section goes faster and then rips into a repeat of the first idea. Now, does it go faster, or are just there more notes in the beat? Because if you just try and clap the beat, That's about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then one, two, three, 1, 2, 3. It's the same speed, but sometimes we can be confused or tricked into thinking that something is faster just because there are more notes. It gets more busy. Okay, so I would suggest that the speed actually stays the same at the beginning of that, what some people might think is a faster section. All right, but then it does slow down when we get to and then we go back to speed here. And again at the end, it slows down. Yes, Jane Lorna just got there before I said it. It slows down at the end also. Okay, so that's a grade 2 style question. Now, moving on to grade 3. Those of you who are with us from the beginning might have heard a hint at tonality. Now, tonality means major or minor. So can anyone tell me about the major and the minor? We've already mentioned it earlier. How did it start and did it stay the same, major or minor, all the way through? Or was there any changes? Can we talk about that? The tonality of the piece. This is about a grade 3 standard. Okay, we're talking about a quaver beat from LL Master. The quaver notes within the beat, that is correct, but I'm not sure we'd call it a quaver beat. But anyway, that's not the question at the moment. Can we talk about major or minor tonality? I'll play the whole piece through and give you a chance to answer. And any changes in tonality. Okay, we have some answers now. It starts in the minor saying this is George, and then LOL Master saying minor, major, minor. That is absolutely correct. And yes. All right, and now we're back to minor. So yes, well done, George. You answered it in 3 separate sections, but it is basically the same. Tian Tian also agreeing with us all there. So, okay. A little comment here from my piano favourites. 3-4 times suggested answer started in minor, modulated to major and returned to minor. Excellent. Okay, we've got all the right answers. Now, here is a question that often confuses people. What exactly is this question about? And in grade 4 and above, you need to be able to talk about the character of the piece. Okay, now the character of the piece is basically what moods and emotions the music describes. All right, you could say simply like happy, sad, angry, intense, romantic, passionate, something like that. So what character does this piece have? Bear in mind that we've said it's in 3/4 time. We've said that it's a lot of it is in the minor key, although there is some in the major key. And well, what character do you think that suggests the music might have? If you had to paint a picture, what picture does this music paint for you? As I said, this is a question that a lot of people find a little bit confusing. Now, that's a good answer, Aaron Stephen. Sad memory. Okay, so something a little bit sad because of the minor key. And in the exam, they might say, what musical features give this piece its character? So you could say in that, the minor key gives this piece a sort of a sad memory type feeling, okay? Also, the fact that it's in 3/4. Now, very often, music in 3/4 time, Beppo, I'm going to read what you said before I'm going to carry on what I'm going to say. It's like a sad waltz to begin with, then gets livelier in the middle section because it's major. Okay, we'll leave LOL Master's comment out of this. But a sad waltz, yes, a dance. Now, in the little footnotes, you know, in these ABRSM pieces, they often do a little description at the bottom. And one of the things that they've mentioned here at the bottom of this piece, it's like a haunting dance. Somber character in the minor, more uplifting in the major, jolly uplifting dance style. Yeah, this word dance is coming through effectively all the time, okay? Because 3/4 time often gives a piece a dance-like character. Doesn't have to be a happy dance. It could be, as we seem to have understood, a sad dance. So if you hear something in 3/4 time and they ask you that question, the character of this piece, you can always stick in the word a dance, as long as the beat is fast enough, okay? A very slow 3 wouldn't be dance-like, but a fairly fast 3 is dance-like. Okay, then we can talk about the fact that it's in a minor key, so a sad dance, and we've had all those answers coming into your questions. Right, now let's go on to the period of the piece of music, okay? Now, the period of the piece of music would be either Baroque, classical, romantic, or, well, they used to say 20th century, but then after the year 2000, let's say modern, okay? Contemporary music. So, welcome Latif, Abdul. We have an answer from Aaron Stefan saying classical. Now, can you give me some reasons why you think it's classical? Beppo thinks it's romantic. So Beppo, why do you think it's romantic? What are the features of the classical period and the romantic period that give it that style and period? Okay. Tempo changes. Now, Aaron Stevens suggesting that a tempo change suggests romantic period. Unfortunately, you can get tempo changes in Mozart and Haydn in the classical period, so that in itself wouldn't necessarily make it romantic, but in the romantic period the tempo changes are that much more, how can we say, more often, and you can have a lot of rubato and changing the speed a little bit more intensely and a bit more often, okay? LOL Master's given us two options, classical and romantic. Ravi TV, welcome again. I remember you from a previous live stream. Yeah, we're getting these two periods, romantic and classical. Okay, the use of crescendo and tempo, slow changes of tempo. Right, now, you do get changes of tempo and you do get a few little changes of dynamics in the classical period also. So, what is the difference? Now, there is a much larger dynamic range in the romantic period than there is in the classical. In the romantic period, you can also hear a lot of use of pedal. You also hear a lot of wider range of keyboard. The dynamics will have a greater range as well, much louder and much softer. Okay. What else? The harmony will be different. The harmony is a lot more intense. The textures are richer. Okay. So, do we have a consensus after those few little ideas? And also, very often in a classical piece, you have a simple melodic tune with a harmonic accompaniment, whereas the romantic period can be much richer. It has a simple tune, Jane is saying, yes. This piece was written by Cornelius Gurlitt, okay, and he lived from 1820 to 1901. So, despite me trying to put you off, this piece is from the Romantic period. So well done. Okay, those who said it was romantic, okay? I'm just seeing if I can find an exact date at the bottom of this. No, it doesn't actually say. 1894, so right at the end of the 19th century. So that is definitely romantic, okay? And the changes of harmony. Now, some of these, let's have a little listen. You've got that chord. Those three harmonies there are a little bit more intense than you might get in some of the classical music, so dramatic. Okay, so that is the period, romantic. Now, another thing which is very difficult to test in a live stream is sight singing. And we can't do sight singing because I can't hear you sing, okay? All right, so the way we're going to get round this is for you to identify the notes that you hear. Okay, so I'm going to play you 6 notes, okay? I'm going to give you the first note. We're in the key of B minor. And the first note's a D. And I'm going to play you 6 notes. And I want anyone to tell me what these 6 notes are. I'm going to try and cover them so that you cannot see what I'm playing. Although for some reason I think my video does a mirror version, so that would confuse you anyway. Okay, so the first one is a D. And in the higher grades, from grades 4 and upwards, you have to sight sing. Now, the reverse of sight singing is to recognise the notes that you're hearing. So if that's a D, and now, what is the second note? I almost showed you then. Can anyone identify the note after the D? Okay, George is thinking it's a C. Well, it is a C, but if you know anything about your theory, in the key of B minor, C's will be sharp, all right? We have a 2 sharp key signature, C sharp and F sharp, okay. So it is a C sharp. Okay, now let's go to the third note. So we've got D, C sharp, and the third note. Yeah, we don't call it a D flat, although it's enharmonically equivalent to a D flat. It is actually called a C sharp because of the key signature. So we have D, C sharp, and the third note is B, tian tian. Good. Right, now those are quite easy because they're just step, 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 all right? 3 steps going down. Now I'm going to jump. Now this is the harder one. Okay, what is that lower note? And if anyone's listening a minute ago, remember your key signature. There's a clue in that. Okay, now George, you sort of got the right answer first, but we don't call it a G flat. Its enharmonic equivalent, as Ravi TV called it, is an F sharp. Right, now, when you're doing sight singing for the higher grades, 4, 5 and above, you have to be able to hear intervals because sometimes there will be a jump in the music that you have to sing. So you have to be able to hear that that is a fourth. And to have a few little tunes that you can recognise where the interval of a fourth is used, very famous tunes, like for example, sorry, can you hear at the beginning there? It's an F sharp and that's a fourth below the B. And to have a few little tunes like this will be helpful for you to do your sight singing. Okay, now let's go on to the last couple of notes. So we've got 2 more. Let's cover this up. That's the F sharp, and then what are the last 2 notes? So, Latif Abdul is saying D, C sharp, B, F sharp, and then A, almost. Okay, we're getting a little bit confused with A sharp and B. This is George, absolutely correct. B is the last. Yes, now, It's easy to hear the tonic because, you know, like you can feel like you're home when you're on the tonic key, right? So, and the one just below it, if you remember in a harmonic minor scale, although there is no A sharp, well done Harry Long, although there is no A sharp in the key signature, we raise the seventh of a minor scale to make it A sharp. So absolutely correct, A sharp and then B. Now, that is the best we can do in a live stream to help you with sight singing. But if you can do that, sight singing is just the reverse of that. So maybe identifying intervals in your head. You could do this when you hear a tune and you can just try and work out what the notes are and get used to just hearing intervals. And then when you come to sight singing that you have to do in the ABRSM exams, then you can just reverse it and those intervals, you'll be able to sing them out. Okay, right, now we talked about a modulation. Now, most of you recognize that there was a modulation to the major key in the middle, okay? However, I want to go to a slightly different modulation that's a bit harder. Okay, I'm going to play from the beginning. And here is also a little modulation. Now, the options are, all the way up to grade 8, you can have a modulation to the relative minor or major, a modulation to the dominant, or a modulation to the subdominant. Now this is a bit more advanced and I think it comes in grades 7 and 8. But if we have anyone who's willing to hedge a bet on what that answer might be, what key do we modulate there? Now, Aaron Stevens sang the dominant. If you have a modulation to the dominant, there's a sort of a lifting feel to the music. If you have a modulation to the subdominant, it has like a sinking feel. And the modulations to the relative major and minor are quite obvious because, well, if you're in a minor key and you end up in a major key, that is pretty obvious, okay? But these other two, modulation to the dominant and subdominant, are not quite so obvious. Was it a lifting feel or a sinking feel? Harry Long is saying it's to the subdominant. Could you let me know, Harry, what grade you are doing? Because if you're doing one of the higher grades, we could maybe... Yes, it sinks. Yes. Yes, it absolutely does sink. All right. So if I just played you the chords... Yeah, and the key note we're in now is actually E minor. And we started in B minor. And if you think about it, B, C, D, E is the fourth of the scale, so that is the subdominant key. Okay, that's a little bit more advanced. It would be interesting to know what grade Harry is doing, Harry Long, so let us know. Okay, now, let's try a cadence. Again, Harry's doing grade 6. Okay, well that was a very good, I mean you're getting yourself ready for the next grade as well, alright? Now, cadences. You can have perfect cadences, imperfect cadences, and when you get to the higher grades, plagal cadences, okay? I think perfect cadences come in at grade 6, so we've got a few of you here that are doing grade 6, Harry included. Can you tell me what the cadence is at the end of this phrase? I'll play it again. Now I'm going to play it just as the chords. Is that a perfect cadence, an imperfect cadence, or a plagal cadence? Right, Aaron's saying it sounds incomplete. So what cadence is the incomplete cadence? You are absolutely correct. This is George now. Yes, Harry is correct, it's imperfect. Perfect cadences sound complete, like you'd have finished there. All right, I couldn't finish the piece here. It sounds like it needs to go on. It's not perfect. Perfect means whole and complete. Yeah? At the end of the last line, for example. Now, you can finish the piece there. In fact, it does finish there. And that is a perfect cadence. All right, slight difference between perfect and imperfect. Okay, now we've already talked about the texture and the structure. So we've covered all the bases there. And again, I will apologize for the slight technical hitch at the beginning. I was trying to use some new equipment, but hopefully I will do a few little tests with some test videos before I try it again next time, and we won't have the same hitch. And also we have interrupted cadences. Now, okay, just a little point there for Tian Tian. Okay, an interrupted cadence sounds like it was going to finish, but then it went to a different key. And if you're in a minor key, it would go to a major. It's a little bit like a modulation to the relative major or the relative minor. Okay, the plagal is a different case altogether. It sounds finished, but not quite so strong. And a plagal cadence, you could always call it the amen cadence. But we'll do some of those in another time. Right, now, I will be doing another live stream, so if you can check out the link that I'm going to leave in this video later. Obviously I had to start a completely new live stream because of the technical hitch at the beginning, so I haven't got any show notes at the bottom in the description, but I'll put some as this video goes live later, and where you can find out when the next live stream is going. But also, if you want to have notifications of what's going on this channel, you can join our WhatsApp MusicOnline UK group, okay, where we can just talk to each other. And there is a video that I think I put out yesterday, which got a link in it, and where you can just join in the WhatsApp group for the MusicOnline UK community, and we can talk about anything to do with music there. Obviously keep it on a musical topic. You can even upload videos for you to get some feedback from other members of the group. And also on this WhatsApp group, you will also get notifications of what's happening on this channel. For example, these live streams, I will always let everybody know on that channel, on that group, sorry, when the next live stream is happening. So go back to my videos page, you know, the recent videos, and you'll see one that says new WhatsApp group for MusicOnline UK, and you can join the group and just stay informed and chat to other members, upload your own videos, and, you know, have fun, but just keep it on a musical theme, because if you go off theme and start using it for other reasons, we might have to block you. So keep it on a musical theme. So thanks for all of you who participated today. That was a good session, except for the first couple of minutes when we had that little technical hitch. And I hope to see you again. We'll probably have another, let's see, another one in the middle of the month. Okay, I haven't decided what day it is exactly. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all soon.